I'm joined today by Andy Lismore, Toaster Racing Manager. We're just running into the start of the 2022 Star Sports and Toaster Racecourse Ground Derby. Lots of things come up in the media recently, particularly on social media, which we need to address a few. Andy, great. Thank you for joining me. One of the first issues that I've been approached, I've had a numerous private messages and things, relates to the kenneling. What is the story with the kenneling?
It's quite simple, Floyd, really. There will be an option of setting kenneling. I think it's been in the press. James Chalkley has, I think, you get a good job at United Nations. He spoke to the GBGB and common sense prevailed. There will be a setting kenneling. There's a bit confusion with a new rule, I think Rule 112, whereby it states you have to have a complete break in between races to allow the vet to check the dogs over, and all due kenneling procedures have to take place and everything has to stop. No racing, no trials, anything. Obviously, listen, we can't take an half an hour break in between races, but there will be a period between it's 6:30 and 7. Races 7 to 12 are in those races. You can kennel between 6:30 and 7. First kenneling being 6:30 till 5:15, whereby, listen, it might take a while because the vet will need to be present and all the dogs kennel correctly in between races. But second kenneling is available to anyone who chooses to use it.
It just seems a bit bizarre to me that we have been racing for nearly 100 years and suddenly some of these things are becoming welfare issues that I don't know. Well, that's a subject for a different day. Overall, looking at you've obviously had quite a few trial stakes, lots of trials. It looks as good a derby as we've seen. Would you agree?
I think we say this every year to be the best one yet, but I generally think it could be. The quality is there. The English, the Irish, we're all there. Listen, it filled no problem as well. A few reserves have come in. They're going to take their chance, but no, it's shaping up nicely. The trial stakes have been scintillating, and plenty of trials as well. Been busy before racing, after racing for the last couple of weeks. But listen, to go. This is the calm before the storm. It's Derby Eve, as I like to call it. But no, it's very much looking forward to it, and it's going to be one to savour for sure this year.
Excellent. Now, your esteemed colleague Steve Cale, who many people would know as the Greyhound Statsman, he sent me. I asked him for some figures for last year, and the couple of things that came of interest out of it. First of all, Trap 3 was the most successful trap last year, despite the fact we had a winner from Trap 6 in the final. And the other slightly peculiar one is that the most successful trap for qualifying, I've got the stat here somewhere, Trap 2, 57.4%. So even though it wasn't the most successful for winners, it was the best to qualify. Do you think, I mean, obviously you're dealing with graded dogs all the time, so to a certain extent, you can make things appear as you want them to appear in terms of fast breakers next to slow breakers and the rest. Do you think that there is a natural bias towards the middle boxes at Toaster, or do you think this is just simply greyhound punters and greyhound trainers looking for something to have a moan about?
Well, listen, you can stage stats any way you like. Steve is a man for stats. I never get him talking down the pub. We keep talking for hours on stats. He's a stat man. I mean, it always used to be the case with the previous regime where everyone said, "Oh, it must be Trap 1, must be Trap 1. Only Trap 1 can win at Toaster." That's obviously has changed. That's certainly not the case anymore. I think the track is fairer. I think, listen, perhaps last year proved as well. If you had a decent wide runner, you'll keep qualifying and can go a very long way. And I think that's probably still the case this year. We've got 30 odd wides in there. If you find yourself a nice wide, keep qualifying. It might be the way forward. But there you go, middle stats say it all. If Steve says Trap 3 all the way, then why not go with the numbers? But listen, it's wide open. It's an excellent entry. Plenty of middles and wides as well this year as well. So listen, let's see at the end of the day. I don't think there's a natural bias, but I think a few of the shrewders said it as well. If you can find a decent wide and keep qualifying, might well be prudent.
Yeah, I mean, to put this into some kind of perspective, we are dealing with very, very small numbers anyway. So that is the one thing that the stats come out at. Trap 5 is the worst, but then might we naturally expect that, bearing in mind that you're going to, because of the shortage of wide runners and the predominance of, in general, in racing throughout all the tracks everywhere, there are more railers than railers and middles. For everybody, most people don't want Trap 5, do they? If you're a wide runner, you want 6. If you're a middle, you want 3 or 4. So I suppose it only makes common sense, any track, any time, that trap 5 is going to be the one that struggles the most.
Yeah, because it does. When you think about it like that, logically, like I say, the wides throughout this competition and get 6 with equal distribution of wides, and if you're a middle, ideally you want to be in 3, not 5. So I guess that would bear it out.
In terms of the international entry, once again, there's a very strong Irish presence. Looking at the Irish dogs, are there any that particularly jumped out at you?
Well, absolutely. Listen, they're a force to be reckoned with again this year. I mean, Ballarat Fair One's back. Obviously, Liam Dowling made the final last year. That's probably the pick of his team. Priceless Jet, we've seen plenty of him in the past at Toaster, former track record holder. We haven't seen the Deadly Showtime dog yet for Carol Roundbottom around Toaster, but looking at his Irish card, he could well be a player. Call of Annie Calvin's trialled very well for Michael O'Donovan. I think he did 29.28 in a trial the other day. Park Blake, probably the pick of Team Hollands. And then also you got Pat Buck, who's got an embarrassment of riches. It could go either way. We haven't even mentioned Wide Open yet. Of course, won many hearts during the Maiden Derby, and let alone Emily's Jet. Pete Cronin's got a strong team as well. He's got Emily's Jet. Kildare as well did a 29.21. It's a strong Irish squad. Which way it'll go, I don't know, but listen, they're a force to reckon with for sure.
And in terms of the UK, Patrick, local trainer, obviously Patrick Janssens has a very strong strength. Kicking off with his, Don Falcon is the obvious place to start. Looks as good as ever, doesn't he?
He does. It's like an old dog gets for sure. I mean, you certainly couldn't rule out in retaining the crown. I mean, you showcased on your site the other day that the other sort of talent in Patrick's range, the Delish Frank is, Bocco's Belly, former track record holder, the Aussie dog as well. You know, Seamus Kale, I think, has got a fair team this year as well. Obviously, did the Glock of Sport in Chile the other day. But likes of Make Noise, Global Vision, Kenny Santee, you know, he's got a fair team. Richard Reese is high on numbers. Amaze Me Seb, probably the pick of his, stays on nicely. John Mullins, he's got plenty in the comp as well. I'm a big fan of Swift Iconic. Obviously, started his career at Toaster, still only a baby, and is going the right way. Probably the pick of John's runners. Kevin Booby's got plenty of Savannahs on all 3 nights. Probably Savannah Booby, the pick of his, bought at the sales, paid a few quid for it. But he's got a Delve Duke as well for Diane Emery as well. That's Kev's as well, not Savannah, but he's coming back to form as well. You can't rule out the McNairs, I guess, either. Warzone Tom was back to his best the other day. Won that trial stake. He was irresistible that day. We haven't even mentioned, you know, Kevin Hutton, Mark Wallace, Tom Ellenbron, Nathan Hunt, you know, Kevin Boone. You know, it's game on. English, Irish. You know, it's going to be one to savour.
So kicking off on the Thursday night, lots and lots of quality. In fact, even right as in the very first heat. What do you like? If I asked you to pick a couple out from the Thursday, which 2 would it be?
Well, obviously, I think one of the ones to savour is you've got Bocco's Belly v Jaguar Macy. That's going to be a decent buckle. Hell of a kerfuffle. Struggle to say it, but he goes on the Thursday as well. Obviously, won a lot of fans here at Toast when winning the Maiden Derby. So there's plenty of savour on the opening night. But as you said, even the very first heat with Triona's Travel, taking on Aussie captain Scooby Prince et al., even Savannah Eruption, it's a hell of a way to kick off Heat 1.
Yes, definitely so. I mean, to be honest, Triona's Traveller is a dog I think is a little bit under the radar in that if you look at his Perry Bar form, if the Derby was at Perry Bar, he would probably be, I don't know, in the top 3 or 4 in the betting. Or again, with absolute respect to Mark and Ernie Skeech, if it had been with Patrick or one of the Irish trainers, again, he might be more greatly talked about. But they've done a fabulous job with him, haven't they? Yeah, I mean, his record is exceptional.
We've not seen a lot of him here at Toast, obviously, just the one trial. I think a 4.19 split and a 29.32. Obviously, it is a wide seed, but didn't go particularly wide in that trial. I remember putting a middle on him, but it was a solo. But, you know, we'll see how he goes under race conditions. But certainly the trial was more than decent. Yeah.
I mean, certainly coming into last year's final, I thought Ballymacfair one had a terrific chance. And he's still not an old dog. He was quite undercooked, wasn't he, coming into last year's Derby?
Well, absolutely, for them exposed last year. But listen, we know all about him now. And again, we were talking about the Irish Challenge earlier on. He's one of the leading Irish guys, and let's say Liam Dowling could again be expected, I'm sure, to take him a very long way.
So, Andy, moving on to the Friday, again, there are a couple of exceptional heats. Before we go into detail, in fact, they may even include your selections. Pick me a couple out from Friday.
Well, listen, you try picking one in Heat 12, where you got Park Blake, Sing Along Sally, and Warzone Tomato. You know, that is going to be, you know, what's mouthwatering. Let's say which way it will go, who knows? But I'm pretty sure Sing Along Sally improved for a trial the other day, 29.57, I think it was. But she stumbled a little bit out of the boxes. I'm sure she'll come on for that. Park Blake looked the real deal when he won that trial stakes the other day, as did Warzone Tom. So very much looking forward to that one.
Yes, of course. I mean, in terms of, I know Rab has always sort of said that Warzone Tom is a dog he likes to keep fresh. So it'll be interesting to see if we get into the latter stages, whether or not he's, you know, tempted him to go and give him a sprint trial somewhere, because I know he's a dog I think he likes to keep busy.
Would be difficult with this 4-day rule, Floyd, but yeah.
It's what, sorry?
It would be difficult with this 4-day rule, but...
Oh, of course, yes, I hadn't even considered that. Yeah, that makes life complicated, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and then obviously the other heat that we must talk about is Heat 19. Kulavani Calvin, and we'll run through more. Kulavani Calvin, Mingus Popeye, Sign It Denver, Chelm Switch, Hazel Hill Hare, and of course defending champion Thorn Falcon.
Yeah, I guess it's about the top and the bottom, really, I suppose. But I mean, Kulavani Calvin, I say, has looked the real deal in trial. He's been over a couple of times for trials, done 29-20 odd, but you know, has taken the track really well. And talk about track specialist Thorn Falcon, you know, it doesn't get any better than that. So again, one to savour. Yeah,
I was talking, had the chat with Kevin Hutton as well. Sign at Denver. He just continues to get better and continues to improve, and I could easily fancy him as a quarter-finalist, semi-finalist, or maybe better.
Yeah, and again, his recent Perry Bar form is second to none. So. Listen, we keep saying it, but it is wide open, this derby. Some big guns, I'm sure, will go out in these first few rounds as well. You know, heats like this, you know, you don't want to call them heats of death, but they're certainly pretty tasty.
So then finally moving on to Saturday night, again, another exceptional card.
Yes, absolutely. So we started strong, we're finishing strong. Saturday night, even the first heat Saturday night, it's got Bubbly Apache, Paul Young's A-string, let's call him. Did what looks on paper a terrible trial most recent, 29th of April, but to be honest, it was quite remarkable. He literally fell onto his nose at the box at a 4.75 split, still did 30.07. So on paper, just look at the time, it looks terrible, but the reality is that was sensational because he literally hit the deck at the boxes. So Bubbly Apache is one who I'm very much looking forward to, and again, I think he could go a long way in this competition for Paul.
Yeah, I guess that his biggest difficulty is the fact that he carries the juvenile box, doesn't he? I don't think, to memory, I don't think a juvenile, used to be Sporting Life Juvenile, Racing Post Juvenile, whatever it's called now. In fact, I think it's originally Greyhound Express competition. I don't think the juvenile winner has ever gone on and won the Derby, despite the fact that we've had some absolutely sensational juvenile winners. They've been really quite unlucky.
I think you're right. I think there'd be a more popular one to break the hoodoo, though. Obviously, the Bubbly Club will be out in force. They were there when he won the big race at Toaster back in the day there. I'm sure they'll be there throughout the Derby. And I don't think you get a bigger cheer come Derby final night if he could be in the decider.
No, of course not. In terms of sort of big cheers, I think there'll be a lot of interest from Hove, won't there, in Heat 23?
Oh yeah, talking about big cheers. Fawn Rebel's got a big fan club as well. The War family and the O'Sullivans, they're always there. They follow him religiously, always charting his progress on Facebook as well. And he's an oldie but a goodie still, Fawn Rebel. Richard Yates has done a remarkable job. I mean, he had a serious injury, but he's back better than ever, Fawn Rebel. And you know, winning, he's a dog. I had this discussion with Richard Yates the other day. He does not know when he's beat this ground. I mean, he's got Adele Duke in opposition, Burnchurch, Mick, Sion Raz in that first heat as well. But listen, Fawn Rebel is one again. He's a wide runner as well. Could well go a long way. He's running better than ever.
I was going to say Burnchurch Mick. I can imagine a little bit of rivalry there if because I think Burnchurch is very much a track specialist kind of dog, isn't he? If he takes to a track, he's really quite formidable.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously will probably prefer a pitch near the fence. He is an out-and-out railer, but no, it's an interesting one. That, like I say, there's plenty of Hove interest in there. Hopefully, be a few of the South Coast crew up and watching. Because Saturday night, actually, I don't know if you're aware, if anyone buys the Sun newspaper, there'll be a voucher in there I believe it's entry and a free pint. So listen, if you're thinking of coming and seeing this first round, probably Saturday night is the time to come. They restocked the bars. So Roger the barman the other day, he's putting plenty of beer on by the sun on the Saturday, and come and see these stars in action. Saturday night, Toaster is going to be the place to be for sure.
I was going to say, looking at the weather coming forward as well, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but it really could be a fabulous derby after making such a great effort last year after COVID lockdowns, with so many people staying in the country even this summer. The place could really be teeming, couldn't it?
Yeah, it's fair to say Kevin Boobley and his team were keen to put on a show. I say that the bars are fully stocked. June Booby, Kevin's mum, was out there the other day. She's no spring chicken, but young at heart, and she was lugging around all the picnic tables and getting everything spot on. So if you do come, be it Thursday, Friday, or Saturday for the first round, you'll be sure a warm welcome and some great action.
She's young enough to clip your ear, young man.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your time, mate.